Good afternoon or good morning when this goes out. Thank you for watching. It is appreciated as always. I've always thought as a British person that one of the most British things you can get in this United Kingdom are castles. They are unique and they are specific to the old world and specifically to Britain in my view. I put a poll up on my channel about 6 months ago and it said, what is the most British thing about Britain? The food, the pubs, the castles, or the monarchy. Now, clearly, pubs came first. Alright? I wasn't expecting castles to win, however, I was expecting castles to rank better than 8%. Let me know if you voted in this poll, and let me know if you think that castles are really, really nifty. It's always it's something I've always felt. I used to play in the local castle ruins near me, and we used to do that all the time as kids. We used to climb up, scale up, even though we weren't meant to, and just chill out. That's what we used to do as teenagers, kids, down in Cheshire. I've always had a romanticised view of castles. When you look at the old movies or you read about medieval kings and queens and whatnot, and you just think, how great is this? If you look at Windsor Castle, for example, it's a huge sprawling castle and it spans the entire town, and the town is literally built around the castle, and you can literally walk in the Windsor Park at the front, and it's open as public access. It's what you deem fair use or fair dealings in a modern context. What if you could live in a castle? What if the monarch, say for example, decreed tomorrow, order in council, every British-born citizen's right is a right to stay in a castle? Say, for example, the closest castle to where I am or the closest fully functioning castle to where I am is Chirk Castle, which is near Wrexham in North Wales. Now, if you look at this castle, it's absolutely stunning. The interiors, the exteriors, and I think it's managed by the National Trust. I have an issue with the National Trust charging me to go and visit as an adult 18 quid just to walk around the castle, have a poke about, and then be sent on my merry way. Me as the common man or the common citizen of this United Kingdom should be able to stay in one of these castles. Now, this isn't a give me. It's not me saying, oh, look at the rich people, aren't they brilliant? They've got all this money, they can do all of this. It's about accessibility. It's about the fair dealings and the fair use of public assets, like the castles that are all over the United Kingdom. It's not about communism. It's not about getting something for nothing. It's not about thinking I'm entitled to anything. We have a right to the land of the United Kingdom as citizens, and we have a right to decide what happens to this land, in my view. It's been exploited by the ruling elite, and it's been exploited by politicians for time immemorial. That's just the way it's always been. What if you could stay in a hotel in the town near Chirk Castle, which is Wrexham, but instead of staying at the hotel, you stay in the interiors of the castle? You would sign a NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, and you would also sign a waiver because they may be a bit drafty. They may not be up to modern building standards. And instead of dropping £200 for 2 nights in a hotel in Wrexham, you can drop the same amount, 200 quid, in the castle, for the castle, and you can stay in the castle in one of their rooms for a couple of days. That's amazing. Why we're not doing things like this? This is what the country is screaming out for. I'm not saying if Bob from Wrexham can stay in his local castle, it's going to solve all his problems. What I'm saying is there's many, many uses for all of the properties and all of the institutions that have been curated over centuries. And they're very narrowly defined in what the functionality of a particular building or a particular office or a particular government position or a particular institution is used for. We should be thinking outside the box. We should be putting use to all of this land, all of this property that's not being used effectively. I'm not for 1 second, for one solitary second, thinking we should put any dinghy divers or foreign nationals into these castles. This is a British asset for British citizens. The illegals shouldn't be in the country. The overstayers legally here need to be shipped off. This is about putting the British rights and the British people at the heart of their local communities and at the heart of the heritage of this United Kingdom. This is one of the many reasons many people in the country feel dispossessed with their democracy and dispossessed with the country that they live in. Because all of these fantastic institutions, these fantastic properties, these fantastic resources are never put into commission with the regular people. So, food for thought, in my view. Now, there's designated land all over the United Kingdom, and they're called common areas. Back in the day, you could set up shop on any of these common areas and use it for your own personal use. Local councils over centuries have curtailed these rights. 100 years ago, 200 years ago, you could go to your local common area, you could use it for agriculture, you could use it as your own personal allotment if you wanted to. You could use it to rear stock, you could use it to, I don't know, set up a car boot sale without the car boot, like a jumble sale. You could do anything like that. You can't do anything like this locally now. It's all go through committees and planning permission, and it's all cumbersome and it's burdensome regulation. Let me know if you think my idea has legs, putting the institutions from decades and centuries ago, the land, the actual country estates, the castles that were built, should be accessible and not for a guided tour. For the regular people, the heart and soul of the UK, they should have not a God-given right, but a right to access these properties. Not even royal palaces, I wouldn't even go that far. Specifically, castles. Now, comment below and let me know if you think I've got a point here, if I'm just talking out my rear end. This may be a bit of a mad lad idea, but I can be a bit crazy from time to time. I was just thinking about it, how cool would it be as a regular Joe or Jane ringing up your local hotel, booking, and going for a few nights? It wouldn't be open to millionaires or billionaires or anyone with status or wealth because they have the connections to do this. I've seen a clip on Graham Norton about a decade ago about Robbie Williams from Take That renting a castle. So the millionaires can rent castles and do all of this as nothing to them. This is about putting the assets that are part of the heritage for us into use with people that normally wouldn't be able to afford it because of the being priced out of the market. Anyway, your mileage may vary. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day and thank you for watching as always.